have stopped in on another episode of the NRW Checkpoint. I am WebsterStyle, the man, the voice of Ferguson. Of course, I'm always joined by my man, Brian Sapph. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. I cannot complain. It's another week in gaming and no real heavy hitters this week. We did get the news that God of War is dropping in October? I think it is.
I think it said
November. Okay.
Like 12th or something, or 16, somewhere in that time frame.
November. And then also, I believe there is a release date for the remake of Last of Us Part 1, if I remember correctly. Maybe that's October. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Possibly. I don't remember what the release date was for that.
So big PlayStation releases are coming out in Q4, which, you know, it's Q4 holiday season. We expect that, but we're not quite in Q4 yet. We are in Q4. Yeah. I don't know. No, we're in Q3.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's talk about gaming, Brian. And coming out this week, we have Garden Story. Now, this is a game that actually came out on the Switch back in 2021. It's now coming out for the Xbox family of systems, and it is dropping on Game Pass day one. It is an action title, and I believe we're watching the trailer for that. Yes, we are. It looks like an interesting game. A lot of these games this week look very interesting and unique. So I'm definitely looking forward to, especially some of the ones that come out on Game Pass, to try and them out as they come out. Now, you have a Switch. Are you familiar with Garden Story at all?
No, not one that I heard of, but you know, the trailer's enticing. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I feel you now. I was like, Garden Story. It doesn't sound like what it looks like. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, because it sounds like a garden simulator.
Exactly. That's what I would thought as well. Especially with all the wacky simulators we've seen in the past couple of months, I would have definitely thought it was a garden simulator.
But I guess it's
or a puzzle game, at least.
We'll see.
Right. All right. So after Garden Store, we have another game, Time on Frog Island. And this is coming out for all systems, PS4, 5, Xbox One, SX, Switch, and PC. And I feel like it's dropping on Game Pass, but it may not be. No, it's not that one. That one actually looks interesting. We're watching the trailer for that. I like a good adventure game, and it looks like one that'll be really fun to play based on what I've seen so far. So I'm really interested in getting a little bit more in-depth info about the game when we watch the trailer a bit later.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds Time on Frog Island. Any relation to Frogger?
No, not that I saw from the snippets I saw, but I like the art style. It's I'm not a big fan. Well, not a big fan. Like, it doesn't have to be super hyper realistic when it comes to graphics. It just has to be, you know, nice look at, playable. And one of the things that, and I don't know if you've noticed about gaming now, it's not about graphics anymore, which is what I love. Which is one reason why you go back and play titles from like the 360, PS3, even Dreamcast era. A lot of the games, because of the art style that they utilize, they still don't hold up very well against games that come out today, because yes, it's maybe in 4K or even 1080p compared to what we saw with those generations, but the art style really gives those games a lot of longevity. And Time on Frog Island, at least looking at some of the stills and a little bit of footage, reminds me a lot of that era of gaming, which is why I brought that up.
All right, well, check it out then. I'm interested.
All right. Next up, we have a PC-only action game in Loopmancer. That looked pretty cool from when I checked it out, but not one to really... It didn't impress me, but it wasn't like, oh, this looks like it sucks either. It looked like a pretty cool game, just not one I say, hey, I really want to learn more about this. And that's just me personally.
Okay. Loopmancer. Well, it's PC, so...
Yeah, it's PC only. Next up, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a bit of deja vu that's going on because we had this happen with Madison last week, or just these games are getting pushed back just like a week or two with no real notice, because I know we talked about Escape Academy a week or two ago, probably the same time we talked about Madison for the first time.
I think we did.
And this game is now coming out this week. And I don't know, maybe with some of the release schedules, maybe they had it wrong before and just got pushed back, because this game is dropping on Game Pass day one. And I distinctly remember they talked about it coming out on the 16th for Game Pass way back when. We talked about it last time, but the release dates, maybe it was a physical version came out first, if there is a physical version. But anyway, Escape Academy is coming out on the 16th, PS4 and 5, Xbox One, SX, and PC, no Switch. And we talked about this one, about how don't understand that it's not coming out for the Switch, because we watched the trailer for it.
Yeah, and it looked like one that would fit perfectly on the Switch.
Yeah, and no known release date for the Switch, at least in my research. So, but it's finally coming out this week. So if you have a Game Pass subscription, and this is on PC and console, I'm not sure if it's cloud or not, but definitely one you should check out just because it's on your subscription.
Right.
So the next one is a platformer, and we're going to watch the trailer for that. Eyes in the Dark, The Curious Case of One Victoria Bloom. And this is another roguelike or roguelite. I don't know which one it is. I've seen both used interchangeably when it comes to describing sort of games. Metroidvania-ish platformer. So, or is it Metroidvania? I may be adding that in, but it's definitely roguelike, roguelite platform. And it's in the trailer. We're gonna watch it later. It looks pretty cool. Again, we've talked a lot about different art styles and utilizing different art styles really to make your game stand out. And this is definitely a game that does that.
All right. Interested. Got one more than the trailer. Yeah, we'll check it out.
Yep. And then the last game coming out this week is one we've talked about before when it was released on the Switch a few weeks ago, if not a few months ago. And that's Rune Factory 5, because we both liked there was a Rune Factory 1 through 4.
Yeah.
And this is an RPG, a standard. I wouldn't say standard because that's not exactly, I'm not trying to belittle it, but it's your stock standard JRPG. It's now dropping on PC when it came out on the Switch way back in March. Yeah, I feel like that came out the same week as like Kirby or something like that. That was a big week.
Yeah,
we talked about it.
It was one of the like lesser known titles of the week, kind of overshadowed. But then, you know what I'm saying, we didn't even know about Runes 1 through 4. So
exactly. But, and let's drop into the trailers. First up, we have Time on Frog Island.
Let's see if we hopping around like Frogger.
I like the art style.
Yeah, this will age well.
Yeah, it really will. You got your adventure and exploration of this island. I would imagine they're going to be, I assume, mystical artifacts as well looking at this. It seems like something that lends itself to that. Or should we have giant talking frogs? That's not at all disconcerting.
Okay, so it's like kind of like a world builder.
A world builder slash oh, is he a frog?
I don't know what the hell this man. He on Frog Island, you know that.
Yeah, but he just snatched the walking tadpole with his tongue, and he clearly looks human.
Yeah. Okay, so he's shipwrecked.
So you're building his ship.
All right. It's barking.
Oh, you probably have to. You probably have to do fetch quests and whatnot and explore to repair your ship so you can leave.
Right.
Because it looks like you crashed.
Yeah, like he's shipwrecked and he gotta try to put his ship back together. But I don't know. Look like you're gonna put the ship together kind of fast. Maybe sail to some other islands that are frog.
Might be.
I don't know. But I'm just realizing that the little pet was a little tadpole.
Right. It's like this thing has legs and is barking like a dog.
Right.
That's a bit strange.
I like kooky little games like that, though.
Yes, exactly. That's why I said when I saw it, it looks interesting, to say the least about it.
Because the play style of it, I don't know, it kind of looked like a little similar to what's the game, Pikmin,
Okay.
But
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, especially when it's carrying the stuff and being chased by the birds. Yeah, definitely
so
get
I'm
that vibe as
interested
well.
to see if it like pans out in that kind of direction where it's, not necessarily level based, but like you complete certain things in the environment to push the story forward, and other parts in the map open up. It looks cool.
Yeah, I got an Animal Crossing vibe too as well. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
because you're on an island and it looks like you're collecting resources as well. So it looks like maybe a combination of a lot of different games that we are very familiar with. So like I said, it looks like it'll be interesting when it comes out. So to say the least about it.
Took some good they got some good inspiration there.
That. Definitely. All right. Next up, we have Eyes in the Dark, the Curious Case of One Victoria Bloom.
It's always a bloom. Things.
I love this art style.
Yeah, out the gate it's looking. Welcome to Bloom Manor. Yeah, it's a side scroll.
So yeah, definitely Metroidvania, like if the mansion is always changing, so a whole lot of backtracking I can only imagine. This is really cool. I guess it's inventory management as well.
This is not on the Switch.
Right. Yes, it is. Now this is PC. Yeah, this is PC only.
So this is a smaller company, a smaller development team.
No.
Yeah,
this is Gearbox. It ain't a small company.
Who was that?
It was Gearbox as a publisher.
So why didn't they put it on the Switch?
We saw another platformer just like this that was published. I want to say it was from Gearbox and it was PC only.
That one where he was swimming underwater and it was like the fish with the
I think so. Thing. Yeah. Again, another unique art style there. Yeah, that was PC only. That wasn't on console. Interesting.
What's going on with Gearbox?
Man? I don't know. It's very peculiar that this game isn't showing up on console right away. It may be PC first and console later. We've seen that too. Yeah. This way we've seen games come out on PC, then it comes out on console like 6-7 months later. And they may have an exclusivity deal with Steam as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking that like maybe there's some kind of exclusive partnership or because Gearbox, were they sold or bought?
Yeah, they were bought by a larger company. I feel like it was an equity firm, but I'm not sure.
Could have. Well, they missing out because
yeah, exactly.
That's perfect for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's a perfect Switch game. You are absolutely right.
Something about the developers these days, they're not playing to their strengths. I don't think they were raised in an era where Game Boy was supreme, Game Boy Advance. Like these kind of games, they will fare like extremely well on a handheld console. Like I'm picturing this now. Like, I got a long drive. Somebody else is driving right now. Let me bust the Switch out and play Eyes of the Dark, Victoria Bloom and all her sadness.
That will look beautiful on that OLED Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really would.
All right, Gearbox. You guys do what you want to do, but you want to be profitable. Nintendo is asking.
Look, the owners made their money when they got bought. So
yeah, you're right.
They good. Right. Right. And last but not least, we have Garden Story.
See? It's another one. Perfect on Switch. Like
this one is coming out on Switch. Am I wrong? No, just Xbox, that's right. The other coming on PC. Yeah, this will be purchased on Switch as well. But I'm pretty sure since it's on Game Pass, there's exclusivity. So it'll be coming out for the other systems probably about 6 months.
Hopefully. This looks just like Zelda, Pokemon, over the head, kind of camera view.
Yep. So you got a bit of adventure in there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like a fun game.
Yeah.
I'll definitely probably check that out on Game Pass when it comes out.
We'll see what PlayStation's talking about over here.
Look, I guarantee you it'll probably be 6 months, 3 to 6 months. That's usually the running time right now.
I can see that.
So, because I can't see that being an Xbox exclusive forever. At
I
least
mean,
a game of that nature, something small like that. That seems like you get your money off the top, being on Game Pass. You get people to play it. You get your money from Microsoft. You get people to buy it, and then once you build up your war chest, so to speak, then you take it over to other systems, make more money.
They should have just. Theory. I'm still with the Switch thing though. They should have honed in. I don't know. Like Switch has become Nintendo in general. They just a family and kid like console. Not saying that they're like specifically geared towards kids. I would even argue that the Switch is geared towards like our generation, where we remember handheld consoles at their prime or whatever. But I'm just looking at it like, you want to make some money, tell these kids they got plenty of microtransactions to buy in this game, and that is going to be on Switch, and the parents will do the rest. But
I have a counterpoint for you though. Because the Switch is known for that. A game like that may get lost in the shuffle. And going to Microsoft first, with going on Game Pass, and then Microsoft is paying you, is cutting the check, and then they also advertising you. Because I can't necessarily see Nintendo really pushing these games outside of a direct. After that, what else is there? Microsoft, and it's only because I'm in the ecosystem. You go on Game Pass, you see it right there. They're always advertising right there on your dashboard, like new games and whatnot. They are very good when it comes to, since I tell you, I'm very much into racking up my Microsoft points every month, going in, and they are always highlighting games like, oh, check this game out, you get 5 points. Check this game out, you get 5 points. They're very good at pushing these titles in front of their users, from my experience. Like even again, the Gunk is a game that came out months ago. I enjoyed it. I still have to go back and beat it, but they're pushing that now. Like, hey, check out this game, you get 5 points, and it's on Game Pass. So they constantly do that with their games on Game Pass. So they're always pushing those games to get people to play them and ultimately buy them for that discount. So like I said, I'm not in the PlayStation ecosystem. I don't know how much of that they're doing. They may be doing more of that now with the PlayStation Essential Plus, or the PlayStation Plus service that they have now. But I know Nintendo doesn't do that.
Yeah. So like Nintendo, I don't know, their like e-store or their shop or whatever, it's kind of set up to be similar to how PlayStation and Xbox are always like, check this deal out, get this deal. But I don't know, something about it does not grab me. I do notice, because you brought up that Xbox has like a point system or whatever. Nintendo does do something like that, but you like actually have to spend money. It's not like, oh, I could just download this free game and they'll give me like 5 points or whatever just for playing or whatever. It's like, oh, if you buy this $30 game, then you get like 30 Mario credits, and then once you get like 100 Mario credits, that's only like $1, something like that. It's not necessarily, I don't know, geared towards pushing newer games onto indie art, or from indie platforms, to players or whatever. But no, I like the idea. I think that would be great if they were to do something like that, because I don't know, it's not the easiest thing discovering games on Nintendo.
It's not, and that's one of the reasons why I like having Game Pass. Microsoft is very good about making those games discoverable as a Game Pass subscriber, based on previous games, but also they front and center. You go in every month or every week or whatever it is. These games are new, and that's literally like the second or third line as you scroll down. They're very good about putting those games front and center on Game Pass. Also on my dashboard, I think right now there's like a little square. It says some of the games are out. I forget exactly what, but all those games they are advertising a little block on Game Pass, and then with the Microsoft points as well. One of the things about Nintendo though, they're very good when you go to the e-store, and again, is that e-store, so you're already going to buy. Is that they're really good about pushing their own titles.
Yeah, no, just about to say they focus on them now.
Right. That discovery aspect, that pushing of third-party smaller titles, Nintendo doesn't do a good job. And from what I understand, Sony doesn't do that good of a job either. Sony wants buku money for that. For you to get pushed on Sony's platform, you need to cut them a check, not the other way around.
And I can agree with that. Just I browse the PlayStation store like pretty frequently, but that's just always because they're always like, oh, this deal going on, this deal going on.
I do the same with Microsoft.
But it's not necessarily something where it's like, oh, we've scanned your library and we noticed that you're into these kind of games. Let's put these forward. It's like, no, here's some sales. These are the titles that just came out. Here's what's coming next. Like, have your pick. So I wish it was a little bit, I don't know, more of a feature there where it could like suggest things that it knows I'm interested in. Because I mean, you watching me buy these games, like you're keeping track of that data for a reason. So not utilizing it for your own game was, I don't know, waste. But
I agree.
We'll see what happens. We don't know what Nintendo has in store. You know, there are rumors surfacing now that motherfucking Switch 2 is on the way, and
they did have for like 3 years.
something like that. But I know they also just revamped their Nintendo Online thing to kind of include like SNES games and stuff for free and things like that. They're trying to keep up, but ultimately Nintendo is for self. They want to promote Mario and Pokemon and Nintendo.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why
it's not.
One of the things I love about that, and I told you before, I love the fact that PlayStation has their competing service now, because at the end of the day, it's good for us.
Right.
It's good for gamers that we have choice. We have options. I was looking at some of the games that were coming to PlayStation Plus Essential. I forget the mid tier is like the tier where like everything is there, pretty much everything. You get access to that, like backwards compatibility and stuff.
Extra.
With the higher tier. I was like, okay, these are some games. Like I've seen these games on Game Pass. Some of these games haven't been on Game Pass. Like I think like all Assassin's Creed, but you see a lot of this choice for gamers, and that's what I really love about these services. Even with Nintendo doesn't have Switch games as part of their library, but that backwards compatibility is definitely something that people really love and enjoy.
Yes.
Personally speaking, I'm fine with the base, with just the regular NES games.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less about SNES or Genesis, and simply because well, no, see, this is the thing, is particularly about the Genesis. The Genesis games, all those games have been published so many times now.
Yeah, the Genesis was a short-lived era for Sega, and even though they spawned fucking Sonic and Pac-Man out of that time period, it's just, I don't know, it's not a whole lot of
there are a lot
there.
I just mean that they have published, like just this last generation, you had that humongous Mega Drive collection that came out with 30 plus games on it.
Right.
We had the Sega Genesis Mini. So a lot of, and then even with backwards compatibility, a lot of these games have been published via Xbox Live Arcade or PS3 or what have you over the past 10 years or so. So a lot of the games that people love and want to play on Sega, even on Sega in general, you can play elsewhere. It's just that only Nintendo where you don't have those. I think the Mega Drive collection is on the Switch as well.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
So. It released for everything, didn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. So a lot of these things are readily available without you paying a monthly service. So that's my issue. Not my issue, but that is my hesitation in purchasing that extra part of the Nintendo online system, because most of the Super Nintendo games I don't like. I like them, but not to pay for a monthly fee. Same with the 64 games. The only 64 game I will, let's say, ever care about. I care about have been released already. The Zelda games as well as the Mario 64, and I actually have that on the DS that I have. So I'm like, I'm not buying that on the Switch. And then GoldenEye is the only game I care about. On 64 that I would want to play, and whenever that comes out on Switch, it's coming out on Xbox.
Right. Yeah.
So that's my thing about that. So Brian, what's coming up for you this week?
A new episode. This thing right here, the Talk+Play blerdcast. That's where I'm at. talking everything that I like to blurt out about. Just the Miss Marvel finale was really good. I'm covering that.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I watched that tonight.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna enjoy.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, damn.
I've read some things already, so I always know kind of what to expect. I'm hoping that finale is good simply because the series I enjoyed it, but it was kind of aimless after the last few episodes, especially after the last episode.
I can see.
Like,
I can
how's
agree
it going
with
to
that.
conclude?
After watching 6, I can see why it was kind of like 5 was just a filler to prepare you for 6. But covering Miss Marvel, that was really good. I saw Thor: Love and Thunder a couple days ago. Talking about that. Some new music came out that I was really enjoying covering that. I don't know. That's pretty much it. Other than some smaller things in the gaming space, but we'll, like I said, cover that on the Talk+Play blerdcast, and then I'll be here in our W Checkpoint talking new releases and gaming news right here on Nerds of the World with you.
All right, thank you. And the newest episode of the Sartorial Geek podcast will be dropping on Saturday after whenever this comes out. Right now, it's still a work in progress. Definitely talking about my experience at BlerdCon this past weekend. Trekking out, I'm going to start watching Lower Deck, since unfortunately Strange New Worlds season is over. Again, if you have not watched Strange New Worlds, watch it. But I'm going to start watching Lower Decks. I'm thinking maybe Discovery, but I think Lower Decks might be easier for me to just binge and get an assessment on, especially because it's 3 seasons, so starting season 1. So I'll probably be talking about that, as well as I got a whole lot of stuff talking about this Coach backpack I've been wearing for the past couple of, I guess, weeks or so. Finally getting a review on that, as well as I got a new fragrance in for review, which I'm actually impressed with, and that's Armani Code Parfum. I've been wearing it 2 days straight, and I'm like, okay, I'm impressed by this bad boy. So I'll be talking about that as well. Amongst a whole lot of other things.
Cool. I'm ready.
So, but we are not at the Sartorial Geek podcast, nor with the Talk+Play blerdcast. We are, NRW Nerds Rule the World. You can find us on Instagram at the NRW. Excuse me. On Twitter at the NRW. On Instagram at New Release Wednesday. And of course, you're on YouTube. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.